reviewing the news, pop culture, video games, movies, and shoes. Quincy and Justin with a nerdy forecast. So stay a while and welcome to the Ugly Mugs Podcast.
Stop breaking things.
Yeah, I don't know what it was picking up on. Just to be sure, welcome to the Ugly Mugs Podcast. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm your other host, Quincy.
Played a bunch of demos. Thank you to chat for letting me know that my mic was busted. Mina the Hollower, done by the guys who did Shovel Knight. Unbeatable, a nice little musical beat-up style game. I actually really enjoyed it. All the rest were fine. Hotel Barcelona, done by Swery. Escape from Duckov, which is like a duck version of Escape from Tarkov. It was fine. Pigface, a first-person Hotline Miami clone that I really enjoyed. I wish there was more in the demo. This one here, Pinball Gunslinger, I think it's what it's called, which is like Peggle but meets roguelite. And I was like, okay, I'll give that one a shot. And
I still can't believe there's a game named Peggle.
Yeah, I mean, it's still fun. I like it. Ascend to Zero, a nice, I guess a roguelite anime adventure. It was very interesting. Pekla was probably the very low end, which is like a really soft Diablo clone mixed with Vampire Survivors. It wasn't too big. But I've also been playing some other games, such as Deltarune. I finished chapters 3 and 4, and much like Charlie Day in Always Sunny, has that big old murder board and is just yammering to everybody about what the fuck's going on about, I think, Santos to something or other, and he's just like, it's all coming together. Yeah, no, that's me about Deltarune theories. Like, there is a lot of very strange theories, and Toby Fox knows how to write a goddamn game. I've also been playing Marvel Rivals because it's fun. It's very fun. Whew. Let's actually open up the browser and talk about a couple quick old humble bundles. The Narrative Arc bundle. $20 gets you all 7 of these items. I've only played a few of these, but the rest kind of look interesting, such as Harold Halibut. I briefly touched this one. It looks very fun. I really need to go back to it. It's on Game Pass right now. If you happen to want to dive through it.
Is this a game about a fish?
It's Ape Sapien, kind of, where you're in the future and you're in a different area of Earth that wasn't habitated. Like there was no people on it. Like think Kong Skull Island. Oh, sorry, Kong Skull Island, and
There you go.
you had to go and figure out what creatures are on this island type thing. So it's Ape Sapien mixed in with Kong Skull Island.
Interesting.
With a little bit of love interest, I think.
Shape of Water.
Yeah. 6 Ages 2, Lights Going Out, is a very interesting, like, mythical journey where it mixes a little bit of, like, turn-based strategy with a survival storybook. Trailer looked fine on it. Season, A Letter to the Future, a nice little bicycle road trip kind of thing where you're going from place to place, talking to people, photographing them, documenting things, picking flowers, and just kind of discussing your journey. It's there's no set place to go. You can go wherever the heck you want. Dustborn, a kind of post-apocalyptic thing, because I was looking at robots kind of taking over places, and your driver's a robot, the person at the cafe was a robot, and you're kind of fighting a rebellion. I don't know, it seems very interesting, but it seems like you're also on a road trip heading from Pacifica to Nova Scotia, so you're going to Canada. It seemed interesting. Mutazone. This one from the trailer just seems like it's a nice little opera. Like it just seems like it has a little bit of a bubbly atmosphere, but also a little bit of hard-hitting moments. A little bit of Roseanne, if that makes sense. Like it has its humor, but at the same time can hit the hard-hitting notions. Venba, a game I keep hearing about. They say you can kill it in about an hour or two. It's a an love story about food and
A
how
lot
food.
of love stories on the Summer Bundle.
That is correct. And it's also on Game Pass on both PC and Xbox if you happen to want to grab that. And finally, Frank and Drake. This one I did not see the trailer for, so I don't know very much about it, but it says are brought together by unknown forces in a conspiracy that threatens them both, sharing the same apartment, though destined never to meet. They must work together to uncover a mystery shrouding their existences. So I guess like past meets future kind of thing, where
Lake
one
House.
kind of a little lake house ish. Okay. But in saying that, it helps out. It gets better. It Gets Better's mission is to communicate to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth around the world that it does indeed get better, and to create and inspire the changes needed to make it better for them. It Gets Better was created to show young LGBT people the levels of happiness, potential, and positivity their lives will reach. It Gets Better wants to remind youth in the LGBT community that they are not alone and it will get better. Yeah. That's good. Speaking of big fests, IGN Live usually does a big bundle every one of these things, starting with E3 a couple years back, and then slowly they've just been kind of being like, well, what's the big talk about? And so IGN sponsored their own, calling it the IGN Live Bundle. And it's a lot of pretty big games for very inexpensive. $22 gets all 8 of these very interesting games, starting with War Tales, a real time strategy with a little bit of tactics involved. Um, when you look down at it, it kind of gives a feel of Risk, but with a little bit more quickness to it. The Medium.
Oh, I don't need fast Risk.
Oh well, it's not as big as Risk. I will point a finger at that. It's not as big as Risk, thankfully. The Medium, which I played a little bit of, but I never finished. I should re-download it and probably climb through it. It was good from the time that I was messing around with it. Um, it's a third-person psychological horror with a little bit of a mystery kind of going on because some of the medium doesn't quite understand how the specters are speaking to her of like why they're even there. It's got some very good voice actors in it, if I recall. Art of Rally, a very simple game where you're just rallying with a really good soundtrack, if I recall. You're just driving around, having some good old times, hopping some hops, listen to some good old music, beat some checkpoints. Old World, another tactics-ish, risk-ish, but with a little bit more money maintenance, inventory maintenance. Not my cup of tea, but I'm sure it's someone's out there who likes Civ games.
This came from the guy who plays Satisfactory.
Satisfactory. Hey, getting that like easy flowing energy from one point to the other, it sparks something different. It hits the neurons a little different. Black Book. This one I believe is on PC Game Pass a while back. I don't know if it's still on it though. But it's a storytelling adventure where you're wandering around as a young girl that is going to become a witch. And in saying that, you can choose who to make your pact with or divert from your pact to either be a good witch or go against the rest of the witches type thing.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
She crushed. Hold on. I'm gonna pause real quick.
They were sisters, bro.
She crushed her sister. Like
well, not her sister.
Was she related to the woman that got crushed with the ruby slippers?
Oh, so the Wicked Witch,
right,
Elphaba, was related to the one that got crushed. The one that delivers the "Are you good witch or a bad witch?" thing is not her, that's Glenda. Yeah,
but she's not related to either one of them. She just said, "I'm a crush."
I don't know. I haven't read the books, and I've started the books. I've never finished the books. And I don't know if that's something they delve into in Wicked because I haven't done Wicked yet. So I'm not sure.
I haven't done Wicked in a while. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember seeing it. Slay the Spire.
So that one was called Black Book, right?
Yes, Black Book.
That does not look like it is on PC Game Pass anymore.
Oh, thank you for that. Slay the Spire, a dynamic deck building game that every run is a little bit different in one way, shape, or form.
I am not good at this game.
I have devout too much time into it. It's fun. It's fine. They keep adding content. I recommend it heavily. Potion Craft, a potion crafting game where people are asking for certain potions. Your ingredient seller sells ingredients. It's one of the more simple tiny build games. There's not really much more to say about Potion Craft. It has very mild storytelling elements, but at the end of the day, you're just making potions, selling them. And Blood Roots, a top-down beat 'em up game, very similar to Hotline Miami, but with more combative roots. There's abilities, skills, and I think it has a little bit of roguelite ability depending on which character you choose. It looks like a raucous good time, and I kind of want this game. It looks fun. All that for 22 doll hairs, and it helps out Child's Play, as it always does. Child's Play charity is a very strong charity that works directly with hospitals worldwide to identify what kinds of games and systems can be installed in hospital wards and distributed for keeps to child patients. Since 2003, Child's Play has coordinated the donation of millions of dollars of games and game systems, making them a premier charity for helping children in need of the joy that games can bring. Yeah, buddy. There's also a couple comic bundles, but we have a lot to talk about. So go check out the Humble Bundles and go help out some good old charities. Okay. Summer Game Fest. When I first popped onto this on last Friday, I said, all right, show me what you got. And for about 3 hours straight from point A to point B, I was amazed, slightly bored. I jumped out of my seat only once.
Occasionally aroused.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. There was one game that caused me to go, oh, okay. A stunner here and there. But
it was the SpongeBob one, wasn't it?
SpongeBob one was a bit of a head turner, I will admit. But some of these games did cause me to go, okay, I'm glad that this developer or this publisher is coming back to put out the games that they want to see. And one of the ones that is right here right in front of us called Into the Unwell. And the rubber hose animation has this like little key note in the back of my head, and Mouse was a part of it. Troy Baker is voicing Mouse. But seeing this and how vibrant it can be, even in its black white with very slight colorations, I said, okay, this looks good, even though it's disgusting and sloppish. I skipped ahead
Referring to the fact that he throws into he falls into a pile of his own puke there. So.
Yes, he does. But then you get down to the grit of the game, and you're like, ooh, this looks a little Epic Mickey-ish. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this. And I said, wait a minute. And then I began to look down the development. Yeah, no, some people who worked on Epic Mickey flew over here to work on this. This is a co-op adventure, and that was a shocker. I wasn't expecting to hear a co-op, adventure-ish game. But here we are in 2025, where these types of games are going to become more around. But that was just the one of the...
As long as it doesn't have to be couch co-op, because that's one of the things that's like shooting certain games in the foot. Like, I bought Pizza Possum just to be pissed off that it's couch co-op.
Well, luckily with things like Steam Share...
Right, but I didn't buy it on that. I bought it on my console because I don't have a gaming PC.
You were correct. And I concur that Xbox does need to run something very similar to that, considering they have the ability to do that.
I just don't understand the concept of making a game for console and only making it couch co-op.
Couch co-op. They think you have real friends.
I don't, first of all. Second of all, if you knew anything about gamers.
You got me. You're right. You're right. I concur 100%. But Into the Unwell was a very nice breath of fresh air. I think it was like third or fourth in. It's first on this list because I'm just working off of the list that Game Trailers, thank you for compiling this for us, has put together, because I'm just going to kind of go through that.
Yeah, Game Trailers did an amazing list for this. So anyone that wants to like sit down and watch these in detail, that's it's a 50. It says 53, but there's actually only 52 videos. playlist and just hit play and chill.
And chill. Because this is over 2 hours of a little under 2 hours of content that you can kind of absorb and decide if you want to play a game. One of them that is in front of me right now is called Felt That Boxing. And when I was watching this, I thought I was watching like an FMV, but no, this is Unreal 5. This is the future of Unreal, which makes them look like actual puppets are being puppeteered and being ready for boxing. So this is a
I do
Punch
like
Out
a good
ish.
puppet.
Yeah, this is a Punch Out clone. It has Punch Out mechanics from the look of it, but I want to see more gameplay from this. This looks so much fun.
Considering it does seem to have like a darker side to its humor, I'm curious if there's going to be a point where you can bite off the ear of another puppet.
Or if one of the puppets bites your ear off.
Yeah.
But I am very excited to see more of this. Just it's very early. All it is very simplistic stuff. We'll keep up on this one. One that I'm surprised was not a part of the Xbox showcase, Atomic Heart 2. Wasn't expecting a new game from it. Nevertheless,
When did that come out? I feel like that game just recently came out.
end of 2023, November, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So they knocked out a second game pretty quick.
They did. I think they pretty much used the same engine and just kind of said,
Probably,
"Here's all
yeah.
the textures, blah 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 blah." But they didn't
That's
really.
one of the great things once you have an engine that works well.
Yeah, and it's not just one game, but two. Mundfish is releasing two games. First one is of course Atomic Heart. The second one is something called The Cube, which is a roguelite battle royale, which has very interesting key features, and it has extraction shooter like elements where you have to grab something and get the fuck out.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that one, and I mean I watched all these, but I watched the Cube one. Was kind of like, what is going on here?
It was very loud, very vibrant, but it didn't really tell what it was about, did it?
I got a man talking about a cube of all arriving and how did none of us noticed it, or was it always here? And I'm just like, okay, maybe I just don't do drugs, and that's the problem. I don't know.
To be fair, going through Atomic Heart 1 made me feel like I needed to have something in the system in order to play it. It was oddly uncomfortable in a strange way. It made me keep playing it for up until maybe about halfway point. I may finish it to get into this because apparently it's a good game, good finish. So I'm.
Oh no, I was on the cube for the confusion.
For the cube, yes. Oh yeah, the cube
Yeah,
was confusing.
yeah.
This is also confusing. This is also very confusing because
Well, this is confusing me because I didn't play Atomic Heart.
yeah. Mundfish makes some strange games, but I have faith in them, even if I
too
may not play.
Strange and unusual.
Even if I won't play it. They did a Guild Wars 2 talk about. I was happy to see Guild Wars 2 having another new expansion, heavily contending with World of Warcraft. The one that made me kind of lean back in my seat and go, huh, an interesting game popping out from Universal? And when I saw this and it said Toronto, I was in a VC chat with a bunch of friends, and he said, Toronto? No, no, and he was breaking his microphone, getting louder and louder. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, hold on. And I was like, okay. And he saw Ramona Flowers, his microphone broke. His microphone shattered. All I heard was static and screaming. And I was like, okay, you're obviously excited. He's like, you don't understand Scott Pilgrim. I'm like, I don't mind Scott Pilgrim. I like Scott Pilgrim, but
I do find it interesting the hype that this game that Scott Pilgrim gets now, because I don't think if Sony hadn't done what they had done, that anyone would give two flying fucks like they do. But to go to release a game that was a good game that people enjoyed, that streamers were doing, and then to pull it to where like it was a reason to buy a console for a while. There was like, oh hey, I have a console with Scott Pilgrim on it, so it's worth more than a regular console.
And now we're getting a brand new one.
And so then you jump all these years in the future when they finally do a release for it, and now they're doing the new one and whatnot. I think that locking it away like that is really what was given this such longevity.
I concur. I'm very happy that they're making one. I don't think I'm gonna get it at launch.
Playing at all. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing to look at.
It's very Sony likes to make some very odd decisions.
Sony doesn't like money.
Well, Sony likes money, but they don't know how to make it.
No,
But
I'm convinced based off the decisions they make that Sony don't like money.
yeah.
But this isn't owned by them, but they had some level of ownership over the original, right? Like that. I don't think they
believe
own
so.
this.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Back when it was the animation studio that helped out Universal, etc., etc. But early 2026 for Scott Pilgrim. So about halfway through the Summer Game Fest, we had a talk about with the head developer behind Resident Evil, and he says, "Thank you guys for your patience. I am very appreciative. You guys have continued to play our games. Our games are currently on sale. Go and play some of the old ones. I would like to hear some of your theories about what the next one will be about. Stay tuned." He threw he threw a curve.
Infected monsters.
Yeah, that's what and everyone was kind of bummed, and you can hear the audible like, "Oh, no Resident Evil stuff."
You just get the one guy in the audience, son of a bitch.
No, there was one guy literally losing his shit every time it said like world premiere. He was like, "Yeah, let's go!"
Oh yeah, I heard that guy. Yeah,
He was losing it. But then at the very end, Jeff Knightley, great host, love him every single year, every single half year, doing these game announcements. And this popped up, and I heard him, the gentleman there, the head FBI guy, talking to a woman, and was like, "Hey, Ashcroft, let's go." And I said, "Ashcroft." And I scruffed my beard, and I said, "That sounds familiar, but I'm going to let it go." And I was like, "Is this Control? Is this like a new Control game?" We got the hardest right hook, because about halfway through this trailer, it begins to get a little psychological, and we hear where she's heading back to, and I'm like, no fucking way. We're going back to Ground Zero, baby. We're going back to Raccoon City.
I wasn't making the connections at first. I'm sitting here going, what is going on? What? And then it finally dawned on me.
Oh, yeah. I am excited. I am beyond excited. And we're getting this game February 27th, 2026. Right around
So did they not... Okay, I was about to say, but no, there's the crater. So they did nuke Raccoon City.
They did drop dropped a heavy ordnance explosive, not a nuke. Sorry, no ground zero, no actual like radiation, just something to eliminate the things underneath the Raccoon City Police Department, and one that was dropped in the Arklay Forest. Huge RE nerd. And so seeing all of the scary shit, I was like, let's go, RE9, baby. Yeah, I probably might get this day one. More than likely. But as he said, for the next about 4 days, you can go and get yourself most of the Capcom games are on sale for like 75% off on...
Well, there's a lot of big sales going on right now, not just for Capcom.
No, but you're right. But I would recommend playing some of those RE games for super cheap.
No, they're great. This might be my chance to buy 4, although I still have to go back and play 3. But this might be my chance to buy 4 because I haven't bought 4 yet.
Have you played 4?
Like back in the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 4 is fun.
I'm talking the remake.
Oh, yeah. The remake's fun too. Then the Cube. Okay. This one was near the beginning.
Well, isn't this what we were talking about before? The Cube? I thought we were...
The Cube I'm glossing over because I'm super confused. The next one after that is called Ill. This one
looks weird. The babies caught me off guard.
Oh, the kicking the baby? Yes. So, another Mundfish game. Mundfish likes to do a lot of... Actually, I'm going to go ahead and censor this one because this one had a few booties hanging out. You enter a facility. It seems like an extraction shooter mixed in with a little bit of like Tarkov elements where you're trying to go in and grab something. Because I'm like, why the fuck are we here? Like, it wasn't very straightforward on why we decided to pop in. But about 3/4 of the way through the trailer, there's babies running at you that have mutations, and the player character punts that child, and I lost my shit.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta punt a mutant baby.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would sincerely hope that's a feature, and if I couldn't have done that, I mean, you could do that in Dead Space 2. So I'm happy that we're staying inclusive.
The babies in Dead Space 2 are one of the things that I hate the most about Dead Space 2. Not like in a, oh, this is a bad game, I hate this mechanic, but in a, oh, fuck, it's coming after me.
It's crawling after me menacingly.
That and in Dead Space 1, the fucking the little ones, the little like triangle shaped fuckers that like flip flap themselves
Oh
towards you.
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I know what we're talking about now.
You end up with like 10 of them on you. Those fucking things.
And you gotta shake. You gotta shake yourself. But Ill has no release date as of yet. It says wish list on wherever you wish list things. So I said, okay, cool. One of the very few VR titles, and a very interesting voice actor that had. Did I show you the commercial that came after this one for the Marvel's Deadpool VR?
I don't know.
Okay, so you obviously saw the first one though, yeah, the one where you were like, it's Neil Patrick Harris. Oh, he sounds bored, and I said,
Yeah, so like he's got the right voice for this. Like listening to him deliver these lines, I'm like, yeah, he sounds like that's a good Deadpool voice. But the energy just isn't there.
that's fair. However, there was another commercial that was posted on Ryan Reynolds' Twitter of him writing somebody and being like, when some backstabbing asshole steals your job,
Eh,
and he supports the project 100%. He, I think he might be doing something
well,
else.
I
That's why
mean,
he can't do this. Mm.
it's also Marvel doesn't do the thing DC is going to be doing, where like we try to have it all be one universe. Everyone's doing the same voice acting if we can. Like the that's not Marvel formula.
No,
Like he
you're
didn't say anything when Nolan North came back and did him for Midnight Suns.
right. This game looks like it would make me hella fucking dizzy though, but it does look fun.
Yeah, this might be one that I watch someone else play. That and not having a VR, I could actively play this on right now. Yeah, I feel like I would watch someone play this. I don't see myself going out of my way to get all this stuff, but also I feel like it would make me nauseous.
Yeah, I don't like. I like being able to jump to movement, not move freely. I don't know. It just it makes me want to use my legs, and I can't walk very far in a limited space. But late 2025, Deadpool VR. It looks like fun. Neil Patrick Harris voices Deadpool in a pretty good way, but yeah, he does sound a little unenthused to play.
It's just maybe it was just a bad cut for the trailer. I don't know.
Maybe there's some more in there. Hopefully, another trailer pops out. Next up, they had another little concept for Mafia: The Old Country. I think you already saw it also, of the main character having his lip cut to be initiated into that mob.
Oh, okay.
It was an okay. It was fine.
I really enjoyed 2. I never played 3. Now that they've done like the remaster of 3, or not 3, 1. I never played 1.
Oh,
Now that they've done the remaster one, I want to go back. I enjoyed 3. I didn't deal with the breakiness of it. Like I saw a lot of like the bugs that the game was having that like, people were having. I was like, damn, that game's fucking broken.
mhm.
But I never experienced any of that. And now that they've got that whole like remaster trilogy pack, I do want to go back and do a good playthrough. But this one looks interesting. Going back in time with this one rather than forward. I don't know. This might be fun. Doing some mafia stuff on horseback looked funny.
I've only played a little bit of Mafia 2. I never made it too far in it. I was getting hit a little too hard with the racist overtones, and I was just like, it's not,
That's 3.
that was 3. That's 3. You're right.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
It's playing a mixed race character in the Darren Nom.
right. And I was just, I don't know. It made me feel a little uncomfortable. It's not the
It's
game's
supposed
fault,
to.
but it was very fun. It was a very fun game. Very good mechanics.
Yeah.
But
there's a actor, and I can't think of his name right now, but he plays a CIA agent in that, and you can watch the video of him doing the mocap acting for one of the cutscenes. Dude fucking gave it his all. He fucking went in hard for that game.
oh, maybe I might pop back into it and kind of curb my mentality and get through a good storytelling game. Because I very recently went through and watched. I forgot what I watched. It was a Godfather-esque movie. Uh, I don't know.
You got to give me more information than that.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you the information later. But I went through and watched that, and I said, "Huh, times were definitely different back then," and kind of just had it quill in my brain. But I'll probably go back and play Mafia 3.
Oh, you did you watch Goodfellas? Did you watch The
No.
Irishman?
We watched The
Either.
Irishman. It was fine.
It's too long.
It was
It's
3
too fucking
hours.
long. Like, don't get me wrong, I can watch a 3-hour movie. Yeah, I've watched many a showings of Lord of the Rings and other fucking long ass movies. I've watched 27 Ronin, which is way more than 3 hours. Irishman should not have been as long as it was. The Irishman just it did not need to be that long.
Hang on, I'll bring up a let me bring up another window and move it over here real quick.
What's the runtime? 3 hours and 29 minutes.
Yeah, that feels it.
You feel every minute of that 3 hours and 29 minutes.
A Bronx Tale.
A Bronx Tale, dude. I haven't seen a Bronx Tale.
With Robert De Niro and I forget his name. Chaz. It's Chaz P. I don't remember. Here it is. Chaz Palminteri. Palminteri?
I'm not sure. You should watch Once Upon a Time in America at some point.
What's Upon a Time in America?
Yeah, it's De Niro, it's Pesci, it's Jennifer Connelly.
3 hours and 49 minutes. Jeez.
Yeah, break it up. Like, watch it in segments.
Okay. All right.
Have you seen that they did the broken up version of Hateful Eight for the extended version on Netflix?
Did they? I mean, was it just the chapters where it would go black, show the little title card, and then go on to that chapter?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually watched it yet, but
okay.
they did that. So like, there's Hateful Eight, and then they did an extended version of Hateful Eight, and they broke it into sections because of how long it is. And I'm like, I feel like they need to do that with more movies, so that you can have a moment of like, okay, cool. Like, if you want to make a 4-hour movie, make a 4-hour movie. But understand, it's not for everybody, and maybe put those breaks in. I also very much think we need to bring back intermissions, because sometimes I want to get a refill and go pee without missing any of the movie.
That is also true. As you mentioned, commercials are a good time to go use the restroom.
They are. But Once Upon a Time in America is done by the same guy that did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh.
Yeah, I do believe he did the whole No Name trilogy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I just marked it to watch.
Yeah, like I said, if you gotta take a break, you gotta take. Like, if you don't have to watch the whole thing in one go. I'm double checking now. He did the good.
It's not like consistent action. There's actually like a time where it'll be slow enough to be like, okay, pause.
Yeah, there's gonna be some talkie points and stuff where we can take a break. But yeah, so he did the full trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars or more, and A Good, Bad, the Ugly. Then he did Once Upon a Time in the West, and then eventually did Once Upon a Time in America, and that is Sergio Leone.
Leone, cool name.
So, but yeah, the Once Upon a Time in America is good. It's long as fuck. You're right. The No Name trilogy is also really good. So. If you ever want to watch some westerns,
I've only seen Good, Bad, Ugly, and that was kind of where I was
the final one in it.
Neutral toward westerns, because westerns never really spoke to me.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is with that trilogy is each movie is like it's very much its own story. So, but no, 310 to Yuma I think is the western I had you watch that you really liked.
I did. It was action packed from start to finish. It's Fistful of Dollars. A few dollars more?
Fistful of Dollars, a few dollars more, and then The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Okay.
Or for a few dollars more.
Oh, for a few.
Okay,
hold on.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
They tend to bounce around to a lot of the free streamers.
Okay, I'll take a peek, see if I can catch those in the near future. However, back to the huge fuck off list of games.
Yeah.
Blighted, a top-down rogue-ish like collectathon. It had a really good elemental bit. It's from the guys who did Guacamelee, and Guacamelee is one of my top 20-ish games. Fantastic music, fantastic art style. it gets already a pass by me, but the trailer doesn't really show too much of what it's got in store. So, except for that big thing, it's me. Um, I'm kind of here for it. Kind of here for it. Oh boy. So they also had a couple days ago Mind's Eye. Now, Mind's Eye released yesterday, and it wasn't released to a bright audience, I guess you can say, because a lot of people really did not have good reviews of this game. AI was breaking left and right. Bits and bobs were soft locking the game. I watched a little bit of gameplay. It does not look very fun.
I've been seeing ads for this all over the place. Like they're dropping ads like crazy for this on TikTok.
And I've also seen those ads, but gameplay on the other hand is a little different than what's pictured. The game looks good. The game looks fantastic. I really liked during one of the times that I was watching a Twitch streamer play it, a nighttime raining sequence, and I was like, "Ooh, this looks good." And then I came back a little bit later and bright and sunny and just having jank with a vehicle, and I was like, "We're still having issues? Cool."
I was really not weirded out. Confused by the end thing where they showed a hitman doing a crossover with this.
That is correct. Because it's IO Interactive doing it, Hitman and
I know it's
Vertigo.
IO. I just don't know what the fuck the crossover is going to be. Like, give more information than just showing the back of 47's head because that was confusing.
Yeah. Summer 2025, I guess we'll learn more, or hopefully before then, we'll learn a little bit more of what that crossover will bring. They're, of course, kind of being like, hey, pre-order now, get all these bonuses, etc., etc. I don't know. It looks good. It looks like Vegas-ish, because you got Stratosphere there. You got a little bit of the wind kind of chilling out here.
Yeah, Luxor was in one of the earlier shots.
That's correct.
That's the high roller.
High roller just chilling out. I can get down with a GTA-ish clone with a little bit of future tech, but probably not until it gets a little more fixed up. They showed off a Game of Thrones game that
it didn't show us any gameplay.
Zero gameplay. It was sure fine. Showed us some Arc Raiders gameplay. Now that one made me go ooh. However, it's still same as it ever was from the beta. I'm here for it. I'm probably going to get into the next beta, hopefully, if they accept me. One of the outliers that caused my head to turn a little bit, Killer Inn. I'm okay with the idea of murder mystery fighting. If YouTube could be a little bit quicker, that'd be great. Hopping into a mansion.
YouTube's quit for the day.
All right. If you're invited to a mansion and one of them is trying to kill you and you have to stop them.
I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun too, but
it's another co-op. It's kind of in the vein of Among Us, but with like a bit more of an investigative like side to things.
Yeah, with every kill, the killer drops a piece of evidence, and with a couple pieces of evidence, you can figure out who killed that individual.
And you can also try to catch the killer, like,
or escape
with the other people. Yeah, like I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun. I think this is gonna be great for streaming.
I think so too. I can definitely see Twitch integrations being a little bit more prevalent in today's time. Weapons look very unique. Like every weapon looked very ornate for no reason, but not in a bad way. Sure. I'll definitely take a more gander at this later on. I do not believe it has a date. I believe it just said closed beta coming soon on Steam. So keep your eye out on that one. A lot of fucking games are going to be dropping on Steam. Dying Light the Beast had another official trailer. Game looks just like Dying Light 2, but with a little bit more flash pizzazz and what looks to be better parkour than 2. Another one parkour. Another one of the unexpecteds, if YouTube would please, for the love of God, load quickly. Is there one person or one group you will never ever fuck with?
Wu-Tang Clan.
That is correct. You don't fuck with the Wu. Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver has a little bit of a big presentation, and Ghostface Killer does the narration, I believe. And
yeah, it's Ghostface Killer.
and I was like, wait, we're gonna a Wu-Tang game? And I hopped out of my. This was the one that I hopped out of my seat. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I knew that they were building a game, but I didn't think that it was going to be, straight up Wu-Tang. I thought it might have been like Def Jam, Vendetta-ish. A nice beat 'em up, a very flashy, probably going to have some really banger-ass soundtracks.
Like, I can't explain how quickly I'm going to buy this game.
Okay.
The problem is, I don't know if my computer can run it.
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll get a console announcement. Knock on wood. Hopefully this gets a little bit more of an outreach, because this is still very early. It just says wishlist now. No date on this one. I'm excited for it. I would like to see a little bit more. I would love to see a little bit more. And
So one of the reports I'm seeing here, this is from Hypebeast. So I don't know how credible this is because I've never heard of this site, but I'm not knocking them.
Sadly,
they do say it will release on PC first.
Okay, see how it does, I guess. That's fair.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Before spending the money port.
This game's gonna sell. It's
gonna
sell.
Yeah. I have a neighbor who has a Wu-Tang sign out in their yard. Like,
oh yeah. Next up on the list, End of Abyss. Now, when I watched this one, let me take a look at my notes. I believe I had said, Epic Games published. It looks like a little bit of Fortnite could be jabbed in. I fear Fortnite may be the end game for this, because let's skip ahead a little bit. So it's a top-down shooter with a little bit of Little Nightmares vibes. But when I saw the weird hand creatures, I crossed out what I had said and said, never mind, Dead Space. And then I see the weird thing with things crawling on its back, and I said, cross that out, never mind, Scorn.
I mean, we've also seen some terrifying shit like this in some of the Dark Souls or Soul-like games.
You are correct. It does look a bit odd for a top-down shooter that's coming next year. It looked cool, looked great. Hopefully some more story elements are kind of spat at us, because it just looked like you're just going from point A to point B. No reasoning to it. No etch of survival. No, hopefully. Next up on the list, Stranger Than Heaven. My notes on this one, I believe I just said, no notes. Skipping ahead a little bit on the trailer, it's done by the guys who do Yakuza. So we're getting that.
I thought that had a very Yakuza feel to it.
Yes.
When I was watching it, I was like, is this another Yakuza game? This looks really different. Like, why? How is this a Yakuza game? And then, especially with the dialogue at the end. The dialogue at the end really made me think it was going to be a Yakuza game. And so for you saying it's coming from the Yakuza guys, I'm not, that makes sense.
Good old RGG, baby. This is Kamurocho before we get the mainstays of the Yakuza's takeover, before the Dojima clan finally takes over. This is when Kamurocho is up for grabs. And
okay, so is this in the Yakuza universe?
From what I'm to understand, yes.
Okay.
But gotcha. I don't know if it will be tied to it. I don't know if the Dojima clan / Tojo clan are going for Kamurocho at this moment, because this is all I can do is half shrug. Judgment did well, even though it's not connected to the main story.
It doesn't need to be connected. I was just curious if it's in the universe,
Yeah, it is in universe, but I don't know if it's connected, because it is Kamurocho. But I am very excited. Onimusha showed off a little bit more of their gameplay. I'm here for Onimusha day in, day out. It will be released next year. And an interesting one. Yeah, I put one of my little stars next to this one. Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. When I saw the little beginning animation, I said, okay, we're actually getting hand-drawn animations and not AI art. Thank you, Jesus. And I just, sat back and watched a trailer, a very nice looking trailer.
There were several anime games or anime-esque games or anime tie-in games, and I can't really have an opinion on most of those as I don't know the animes.
That's fair.
But none of them necessarily looked bad, you know.
Right. It's just none shot out at you like they do with me.
Yeah, because I just don't know the stories.
Good news, this is an original story. I've never seen anything from this. It looks like from this screenshot here, it looks like it's a little bit of roguelite elements because they have cards, graces, weapon building, that sort of thing. I said, okay, all right, I can get down with another roguelite adventure. I really like how more games are incorporating roguelite elements so that way it adds actual replayability, or be like, I don't want to try this build, I want to try out this build. And begin to do build crafting and begin to think of new ways of getting from point A to point B or beyond. So, I'm happy for it. Let's see, what was the next one that had a star? Because, I said, this one, I was like, okay, I love Souls games. I love Souls likes. When I first saw the first action thing, this right here with the crow with the fucking skull in its mouth, I said, this looks Mortal Soul as fuck. And I began to watch and watch. I'm like, that looks like the vessel. This shit looks fucking fire. And then lo and behold, when it announced what it was, oh, I was right. We're getting Mortal Soul 2, baby.
I never played Mortal Soul. Can't fucking talk.
Think Dark Souls, but harder.
Why?
Because so when you die, you become a ghost-like apparition, and in that ghost-like apparition, you have eyes on you at all times because you're not supposed to be there. And so you have one more chance to get out of that zone and make it through. The longer you stay there, the more dangerous it is. And people really like that mechanic because it was like, you didn't die, you now have to get away. You're now needing to flee the scene. Things are going to get harder. I watched all these like death anime, like the killing animations, and I was like, yo, that shit looks great. To be able to grapple these creatures using what is attached to either their face or embedded into their face and beat them the fuck up. And now there's guns.
Yeah, beating them the fuck up with their own face.
Yes. You know what? Mortal Soul 2, thumbs up. I'm excited. I don't believe we have a day. It just is 2026. So at least we're getting it next year. And I said, okay, cool. Golf clap. Street Fighter 6 revealed some of their characters in a very fun way.
Yeah, this was pretty fun.
For those who don't know, I love wrestling. I am a huge fan of Kenny Omega. Bummer that I didn't watch him in his early run of AEW, but I have been catching up. And when I saw this, and I said, Kenny, what are you doing, man? And I said, is this Mega Man? And I was like getting super fucking hype. Because Kenny said, and I quote, day one. And then I saw Alex. I was like, oh shit, we're getting Street Fighter stuff. Okay.
Well, that's the thing is, Street Fighter's worked with AEW a few times now, so
that is true.
Through like merch and whatnot. So
yeah. So Alex Sea Viper, Crimson Viper, fucking I forget her name, Ingrid, and he looks pretty okay in a wig. And last but not least, when he laughs,
it's the kiss at the end that really had me going.
Me too. And then, of course, the big laugh, Sagat, is going to be a part of the next year of Street Fighter. An interesting selection. Sagat, I would have expected to have been a little sooner than Akuma, but,
Akuma's got a lot of fans.
Akuma's got a lot more fans than Sagat, but original villain versus new villain, in my opinion, but c'est la vie. Going back over to Souls-likes, but Souls-like that meets anime, Code Vein 2 was also announced during the Summer Game Fest, and I said, Bandai Namco's really putting a lot
Still
of
haven't
money
played
out
Code Vein.
there. Code Vein is very fun. It's a little bit more of an easier going Souls-like that I could honestly try and push onto people if they're not too keen on the Souls
If they're not
experience.
masochists.
Uh, later on it gets a little masochisty. But
Masochisty.
best word I could put.
No, yeah, I'm here for it. It works.
But watching the trailer, I was like, okay, I knew off the cut this was Code Vein. And I said, yeah, from the mask popping on. And I said, okay, cool. Watching the rest of the trailer, I said, it's to be expected. I'm excited to see these new abilities, these new super abilities. We get a bike to go a little bit quicker around. Okay, cool. Thank you, Bandai Namco. You get points. One of the demos that I have tried, thanks to, I believe it's something Yacht. I forget Yacht Club Games, the ones behind Shovel Knight, dropped this trailer. Come on, there we go. And when
It's another one I never played, but I've heard great things of.
Shovel Knight, really?
Yeah, I've never played Shovel Knight.
Oh, it is fun. The DLCs are a lot more fun. But this is a little bit of Link's Awakening graphic style, very 16-bit Game Boy Color-esque. And going through the demo, I had a lot of fun. You have a choice of 3 weapons to start off with, so you're not just dealing with the same single one. I'm gonna probably try a different weapon, just so that way I can have a bit more of a broad experience. There's more weapons in there. Holy shit! Hold on. Oh, hold on. I'm backing up a little bit. Yeah, there's 5 weapons here. Okay, cool. So and you can switch between the 2. Even more interesting. I may purchase this game. It also may not be worth. I believe $20 is the asking price tag, and it is releasing October 31st, 2025.
Well, $20 for a game, ain't bad.
I believe that is what the asking mill is saying, considering Shovel Knight at launch was 25. So they're only assuming. Marvel Cosmic Invasion announces 2 new characters, Rocket Raccoon and She-Hulk. Sadly, I wish they showed us a lot quicker, because the game is right around the corner. I believe we're getting this in October.
Yeah, I feel like marketing for like everything, games, movies, television shows, marketing has gotten lazy, and it hurts.
Lazy, but at the same time, this is very fun, so I will be patient.
No, this is a very fun, very well done trailer. But like you said, it's right around the corner. Why are we just now hearing about things, you know?
Yeah. And we still have 5 more characters left, I think. I think we're getting 5 more. But even still, I'm probably... I think this is gonna... Is this Game Pass? I forget.
Wasn't on the list you sent me.
Yeah, it wasn't on the list, but I don't know if it already was announced for it. I'll look later, but I hope I hope it's very inexpensive for this one. Blade and Soul had a trailer for Blade and Soul Heroes. It was fine. It didn't really do anything too much. Blade and Soul is a nice little MMO, but Blade and Soul Heroes is like a more anime version of this anime game, if that makes sense. Mouse PI for Hire did another trailer where it was showing a lot more gameplay, and I'm like, good, they're still pushing this game. They're still making this game look good. They said, well, here we'll also announce the voice of Jack Cheddar, or no. Oh, what is the name of that character? The main character.
I don't remember.
Jack something. Jack Cheese. Jack. But Troy Baker is.
Well, we know it's not Monterey Jack because they don't want.
Jack Pepper. And I mean, I'm happy that they got Troy Baker. Makes me very happy. One of the weird ones that I kind
of. He's a very talented man.
Yeah, he is, and I'd like to see him in more things. One of the weird trailers, Fractured Blooms, where you're, I guess, planting outside some tomatoes, and when I was tomatoes, basil. wish I could tell you what this game is going to be about. You seem to be planting
It,
things, and then it's talking
yeah,
about,
it had like a cozy farm thing going, and then it got spooky.
and then it got weird. And like instead of like making slices, you're making chunks of things, and then it's talking about what he would have wanted. And then in the bottom right corner, you got a just a piece of meat, unknown, and it's like plant 2 beets, plant, and then a bunch of X's, and I'm like, what are we planting, bud?
Who are we
So
planting?
yeah, who are we planting? Uh, Pick up 6 pieces of laundry. Don't look. I'm like, don't look. What do you mean, don't look? So this does definitely add in a bit of spookiness with a bit of occultism. I could assume because you're planting, I think, human remains. I don't know, but something to keep an eye out. Hopefully, we get a little bit more from it in the near future. No release date. Out of Words was an interesting animation style that I was not accustomed to, and I wasn't expecting it to have, I believe, a brisk release date of next year, considering this was the first we ever heard of it. Um, Let me skip ahead a
Well,
little bit.
a year's not bad on an announcement.
Right, but having this good looking of an animation style, I would have figured like early 2027.
Well, that's the thing is they straight up said this was hand animated. Like this was
That
they
that
did they sat here they sculpted these they did the stop motion and all that. So
That's what I mean. I'm curious to know how
yeah,
long this game was in development.
probably a long ass fucking time.
Probably. Out of Words is a nice little co-op adventure where 2 people have to kind of work together in order to do something, but at the same time in a mirror-ish way. Earlier on in the trailer, one is on the ceiling while the other one is on the floor on the opposite, almost like a parallel. And then it kind of has like a interesting jump-ish style of finishing a puzzle together. But hand animations that look fan fucking tastic. Um, Very limbo, very nice. I'll keep my eye on this one, but I don't. Oh, they both don't have mouths. I did not notice that until now. Makes sense about the title, Out of Words. Uh, One of the 2 Lego games that got announced. I'm not gonna really talk about the second one because it's just Mario Party, but Lego branded. But this one is
Which is kind of nice for the people who want to play something like that, but don't have a Nintendo device.
that is true. That is very true. However,
Because I
this
loved me some
one,
Mario Party back in the day.
I, I would get salty. I get too serious about certain games like that. But how would you like to play as a 1 by 1 Lego brick and can build that way? Like it's such a simple premise to be able to build using what you have around you and build a catapult using spare parts around, get your buddy to the other side and then build your way back over there. Build a bridge out of just simple 2 by 2 or 2 by 1s. Build a car using simple bits and
It feels like
bobs.
that Two Brothers game, but Legos
And I'm okay with that because the
or
two brothers,
Brothers or whatever the game was
yeah,
called,
brothers,
whatever it was called.
or maybe a little No Way Out ish, but
I don't
without the
remember that one.
criminal.
Oh yeah. I never got to play that.
Oh, very
Okay.
fun, but definitely needs another person. Um,
Yeah,
I'm very
or
curious
it's a
to.
Way Out. That's what that one was called.
Yes. I don't believe this has a date, but it is interesting that they showed off some of its very interesting gameplay. Wildgate, one of the demos I tried getting into, but kept giving me error codes, so I'm not too mad at that. But the trailer that it showcased, um, hmm, YouTube's been acting funny lately, and that's not a good thing. Shows a 3v3v3 style extraction ish, where you have to take your opponent's core and take it back to your ship. And I was like, ooh, that is actually kind of
So Capture the
interesting.
Flag.
Capture the flag ish. And I was like, okay, that's cool. All the individual, you have individual classes slash class abilities. You've got ship defenses that you have to upkeep. You can stay on the ship and defend it that way. I was like, okay, I can kind of get down with this. This looks like fun. You can also attach rockets onto people's ships and have them fly into asteroids. You know, I was here for this. Good news, it's still up and available. I can try again later to hop into this beta. It is available from now until the 16th. So if you happen to want to play it, hopefully you can get in. I hope the servers don't shit itself. Another one of the weird ones. Infinitesimals. A interesting little creation-ish where it's mixing all of the creatures and adds in a little bit of Spore meets Grounded, if that makes sense. Because it feels like you're small, but have big scaled things.
Yeah, this one was odd because I noticed that. I was like, wait a minute, why is there? Are the trees giant? Are the spiders giant? Are we small? What is going on?
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're small, but then there's facilities that are our size, and it does definitely feel very strange. But there's also robo bugs, so I don't know. You're also an alien, I think. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. You're aliens that crash landed, but you're really small.
Maybe. It is very interesting. I would like to see some more gameplay. That gameplay did look really fun, really engaging. As said, very grounded. Infinitimals releases in 2026.
Which is funny because guess what's getting a sequel?
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that in a moment. Liza P. Overture had more gameplay, and during the IGN Live Aftermath, they showed a lot of its gameplay. Liza P. has changed drastically since I tried sludging through it. Oh yeah, it's a lot more difficult than you think, but they made it a lot easier. Thankfully, they've done some patches since then. First Descendant has said, "Thank you for our first year. Here is to the next one." Showed off some more characters as well as some more story stuff. Good for them. I fell off of First Descendant. Mixtape.
I'm all for this one. I'm gonna play the shit out of this. If
I-
it doesn't come to like Game Pass or something, then I'm gonna have to buy it.
Yeah, I fell in love with its aesthetic, but I don't know if it's a story I want to go through because I feel like it's gonna.
I like the
it's gonna. I feel like it's
Oh,
gonna
it's
break
probably
my heart.
yeah, it's
I
probably
don't
break
know.
my heart. But I love the aesthetic. I love the fucking music.
The music is great. They pushed that forward and said, "Here's all this music. Enjoy this." And I was like, that I can get behind. Anything that tries to push up music along with their art immediately gets a 10 on 10 just because they
So
want to build.
this one says that it's supposed to be set back in the 80s. If you go to the developers page, it says make out, sneak out, hang out. On the last night of high school, three friends embark on one more adventure together. Play through a mixtape of memories set to soundtrack of a generation. En route to their final party together, a perfectly curated playlist draws them into dreamlike I can't. My brain's just not fucking working.
Okay, bud.
Reenactments. There we go. Of their formative memories. Experience a variety of narratives. Vignettes exploring the pivotal moments that shaped them. It's the greatest hits of teenage friendship from the first kiss to the last dance. I also you get TP a house in there, so that looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But it says featuring music from Devo, Roxy Music, Lush, The Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, which it was playing Iggy in the trailer.
Yes.
Susie and the Banshees, Joy Division, and many more. I know they mentioned The Cure in the trailer also.
Yeah. The Cure is also in the little descriptor, which is weird that they don't want to throw it on that side, but I guess maybe it was a last minute ad. If you happen to get it, I may go through it just because of that, but I don't know, man.
Well, this one like caught me immediately with the trailer. I was like, I am into this.
It looks like it's gonna weigh heavily.
Probably.
Jurassic World Evolution 3 had a nice little trailer with its classic music.
Yeah, I watched another trailer other than this one as well that was rather interesting because you had like almost like a terrorist organization like sabotaging the parks, which
Like
was kind of interesting looking.
like a PETA-ish sort of thing.
I don't know. I don't know what they were supposed to be, but like they're the reason the dinosaur breakout this one rather than like competitors like in these games.
Interesting. Hmm. Seven Deadly Sins Origin, which it predates the Seven Deadly Sins anime. I lose me with the Seven Deadly Sins. It has first two seasons were good. It actually had some good storytelling stuff, and then when third season rolled around, it started getting weird and not in a good
I haven't
way.
watched it.
Eh. Fight scenes are cool. Some of the like animation begins to go downhill. It's just I don't know. It's just a lot of controversy behind Seven Deadly Sins and some of
Okay.
the story elements as well.
Hmm.
Christopher Atlan, a mobile game, gets a One Punch Man collaboration, and the crossover trailer was kind of cute, I will admit. Uh, Before Splitgate 2 happened to pop on, the head developer behind it popped up, and he was wearing a Make Games Great Again hat and keyframed the game. We're never going to get a um, Titanfall 3. And he's like, so I'm going to build a game that I like. And I'm like,
Okay.
and I was like, yeah, ixnay on the beating up of others, hey.
That was a choice.
Yeah, the hat was the initial thing that made me go get this bum off stage. He apparently
Okay, that's a choice.
he apparently apologized for it and said that I just really wanted to get eyes on Splitgate 2, which was
Oh, you got eyes on stuff.
yeah, you got eyes on stuff. Splitgate 2, I dabbled
I
a little.
guess he's a believer in the no such thing as bad press, I guess.
I suppose, but I mean, Splitgate 2 has had its player base and is getting big, and he also announced that it's getting a battle royale, and apparently people are
Not
slowly.
everything needs a fucking battle royale.
With Splitgate, I would say that it would be a little bit more fun with the power of teleportation. However, I concur. Not everything deserves it. And
Not even deserves it. Like needs it is
needs it.
the thing I'm going with because like that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like this deserves the battle royale treatment. It feels like they sit there and go, we need to do battle royale, otherwise we're not gonna sell. And no, like I don't know.
Hmm.
Battle royales are way overdone, and like no one's ever gonna dethrone fucking Fortnite.
At this point, no, I don't think so. But want to talk about an indie game made by I think 6 people?
Yeah.
Acts of Blood, which looked fucking fantastic. A nice little Sifu-ish like beat 'em up style game. I fell in love with it immediately. I said, okay, I like it. It got a little bit of Batman Arkham
Yeah,
Asylum thrown in.
it Sifu feels as well.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Showed a little bit of gunplay for those who want to pick up the gun and say, get this piece of trash out of my way. Showed a lot of Muay Thai, a little bit of kickboxing, a little bit of regular boxing, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of parkour. I said, cool, give me more of this. And it's only being done by I said, 6 people. That immediately gets huge ups that 6 people can put together a very fine looking game. Summer of this year.
Nice.
Dune had one for Dune Awakening, and I believe the game came out on the 9th. Quincy, I believe was it you that showed me that the sandworm was flying?
Yes. I don't know if that's the same game, but yes.
I believe it is the same game.
That video was hilarious. And then I started coming near the guy. He's like, "Oh no, you stay over there."
Yeah, I fell out of Dune a while back. I still need to watch the new movies. I don't know.
I have not watched either of the new movies. I haven't watched Dune since Kyle MacLachlan was in it.
Oh yeah. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds had a very interesting trailer that caused me to go, okay. I mean, it's no Mario Kart, but I'm sure a lot of people will buy this.
Which is actually that's the thing is there's like so much backlash right now on the new Switch that a lot of people are like, no, I want fucking Sonic.
That sure
over Mario Kart, especially because if you buy the Mario Kart bundle, so Mario Kart we talked about new Mario Kart $80 game.
Yes.
If you buy the Mario Kart bundle, the one that comes, it's the Switch 2 with Mario Kart.
Mhm.
It is only $50 more than the Switch with no game.
That's correct. You save $30.
So that tells me that Mario Kart World is actually a $50 game that you were just charging me 80 fucking dollars.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope that they have bundles in stock.
Oh, I'm not buying the console, but I was so in, and then like a bunch of the they've made, I've been like, you know what? I don't think I am.
I don't think I am either. But Sonic Racing Crossworlds made some very interesting crossover stuff. Hatsune Miku, which I was like, okay. And then very shortly after that, Ichiban from Like a Dragon. I was like, okay, so we're getting Sega people in here. Okay, are we getting another thing? Out of fucking the blue, here, let me actually grab the image of them popping up on screen. Fucking Joker. I was like, oh, we're getting Atlas in here now.
You have to be clear when you say Joker.
Oh, Joker from Persona 5.
Persona.
Yes. I unexpected, but I was here for it. In another announcement, they obviously had already announced Steve from Minecraft as well, and he gets minecarts to drive around in this very similar fashion. I said, okay, so we're getting a lot of crossovers, and they said that's not all. We have more. Wait until, and then it said 2026. I said, okay, cool, fine. So these guys have DLC plans. Curious if they're going to be free to play or if they're just gonna, charge like $5 a pop. We'll see.
I mean, hopefully they're smart about it, and if they are going to charge, they do like a pack for like a price rather than like, oh, each one is $5 fucking dollars.
That would
like
be
do
smart.
like you 4 people for 10 or something like that.
That would be very smart. Mio Memories Orbit, we already talked about it, but they said, hey, there's a demo now. I was thinking about climbing into this one, but I said, no, I think if I am going to play this, I would like to play it fresh. I don't want to have a stopping point. So I kind of put that one off on the side. But you have a chance to play MIO, Memories in Orbit, until the 16th of this month through the Steam Next Fest. An interesting, good one that cause YouTube, please.
It's a lot of videos, man.
Yeah, it is a lot of videos, but it should just automatically. There we go. One that I was very awkwardly watching, I believe this was near the end, and I was like, okay, are we getting another fucking like Night Rain? What are we getting here? I don't know what to call this game. I have no clue what to call this game. It shows hack and slash, shows a little bit of Souls-like, shows a little bit of third-person shooter-ish. It shows co-op. I definitely see a buddy next to you. So I am very curious on what this game is going to be. I would like to see more mechanics, more exploration, if there is exploration. I hope it's not just an arena style game where you go from one arena to another. I would like to see some, Easter eggs, some areas to explore. But Chrono Odyssey definitely made me go, huh. You can join a playtest that runs June 20th through the 22nd. Let's get to the weird one. Let's get to the really weird one. Quincy and I like D&D. We love D&D. We also kind of have an okay relationship with Nicktoons. I would if anyone had told me that they were going to combine this in 2025, I would have been like,
it's a choice.
It's a choice, the bold choice. How? Show me how. And alas, all we get.
Cleared.
I hope to see some more Nick style things. Hopefully, we see some TMNT. Hopefully, we see more Nicktoon variety than just SpongeBob laughing. It's a teaser. It is definitely an announcement that they made.
We see him.
Do we?
Yeah. After he laughs, it turns on the lights, and yeah, and then we see the fairy wand, and yeah,
the fairy wand, but we don't see very much more. All we get is just Sponge.
No.
Fall
yeah, I thought you were talking about seeing Sponge. Yeah.
Oh no! I'm talking seeing anyone else.
Gotcha.
But fall 2025, not too far away. Hopefully we get some more gameplay rather than just the 12 seconds of top-down beat 'em up style stuff that we get. I see numbers, so hopefully maybe a little bit of roguelite elements, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a Diablo clone. Hard to say. Death Stranding.
Nicktoon Diablo clone.
I'm here for it. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. As much as I love Hideo Kojima, his trailers couldn't be more strange, and he decided to pick a cutscene of the secondary main character going to a therapy session.
With someone that he apparently knows, which is just bad therapy.
Yeah, and I don't. He wants to smoke in a doctor's office to begin with, and I'm just I don't know. It's choice.
What year is this?
Yeah, I have faith in Hideo Kojima making a good game. I don't know what these cutscenes are supposed to do for us. Last Flag, a capture slash hide your flag style game that has a lot of pizzazz, a lot of very 1980s ish, 1970s ish feel to it. A lot of discotheque. When was discotheque ish?
Yeah, disco would have been 70s.
70s?
Yeah.
Okay, it definitely has a lot of that. Oh God, what was that? A Deathloop feel to it. But alas, I'm not a big fan of Capture the Flag anymore. I'm out of the uh, TDM style games, and also being able to be moved without your say so. No, 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 no. Miss me with that shit. Miss me with that teleport gun. I don't. But it does look fun. Just not my style of game. Lego Party has said a Mario Party game for those who don't want to go for the Nintendo purchase. And then they had Mads Mikkelsen. Mads
Technically, it's not even Mads, right? Like, it's pronounced some other way.
Mads I'm sure, but his character in Casino Royale, Le Chiffre,
Yeah, the chief, or the Shifra.
is going to be in Hitman: World of Assassination from now until
The 6th, I think.
the 6th of July. So
Yeah,
if
so I need to
you
hurry up and re-download so I can get this mission in.
Yeah, and I'm super here for like all this extra content. I just don't. I understand the elusive targets, but I think they need to do like rotations where you can
They
try
do.
them again later.
They do.
Oh, they do. Okay, so
Yeah,
hopefully this is the only time.
the only ones I don't think they rotated was like the special like celebrity ones. So this one I don't know if it'll rotate again.
Oh, so you're telling
But
me
the regular
can't kill Sean Bean
the regular
again?
ones. Yeah, I don't know that Sean Bean comes back, and I don't know that the Gary. Who was it? Because Gary Busey and Gary someone else.
One of the Garys.
Which Gary was it? Oh, shit. My phone.
How you doing, Gary Busey?
I'm
doing
doing
great.
pretty good. Gary Cole.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that one loops back around. Like I said, the other ones they eventually come back around.
His in-game character model looks really good, by the way. I'm here.
Yeah,
for
no,
it.
he does. And it's a nice little nod to the fact that the same company is doing the new James Bond game that we just got a trailer for.
Yeah. And that was it for the Summer Game Fest. There was a couple more in there. There was one more talking about Final Fantasy 16, but I think that's the one that got pulled. I think. I was also saying, hey, also in the near future, we're going to have our Final Fantasy and Magic the Gathering. If you want to be into Magic the Gathering, download Magic the Gathering Arena. You know, try and get people to play Magic the Gathering. And I was like, that's actually really good of you guys.
Nerds.
But then a couple days later, during those couple days, there was a couple more announcement things. Let me see if there was anything of interest on my big fuck off 191 thing list.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Expanse or Osiris Reborn was announced. I was surprised that we were getting an Expanse game. I didn't know if it did well. Titan Quest 2 was announced, and I said, oh, okay, cool. Hopefully they update gameplay a little bit. the Bureau of Arcane Affairs caught my attention. I played a couple of the demos that popped up, like Flickshot Rogues and Ascend to Zero. They made announcements there. Don't Wake the Beast was very interesting. Joe and Mac, the old NES classics, 1, 2, and 3 are getting a collection, which I don't know who asked, but glad it's coming out. Duck Detective, the second game, is coming out soon. Patapon, the PSP classic, is getting a PC sequel called Ratatan, releases on July 25th. Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile, gets a pretty good-looking game. Tenet of the Spark caught my attention. No release date, however. House Flipper 2 gets a Scooby-Doo
I saw that. It's actually kind of a nice little add-on. I was like, damn. Kind of almost makes me want to buy House Flipper.
Releases in October. And it seems to be all that I got a glimpse of. Dialing the Beast did another little thing. Directive 8020 caught my attention, but got nothing much to say about that. All right, and then on Sunday, a couple days later, boy, Xbox decided to shove me down a flight of stairs and say, we want games to be playable. And holy shit, did they make a lot of game announcements. Play day one with Game Pass.
How to get out of theater mode on Twitch.
From my phone, I just go from portrait to landscape. And it's just, okay.
I'm on the computer, not on the phone.
Oh.
I figured it out.
Yeah, you just put it from portrait mode to landscape.
Listen, man.
The Outer Worlds... That's fair. The Outer Worlds 2 started off this, and I said, holy shit, I'm actually really excited for this game again. Obsidian really learned from their mistakes of Outer Worlds.
They have some clever ideas.
And some flaws, give you some big bonuses, where when you stand up from a crouched position, your knees pop, causing people in the nearby vicinity to hear you. I cackled really loudly. After this entire showcase, they showed a lot of Outer Worlds. They showed a lot of the perk trees. They showed some of the weaponry. They showed a little bit of the story at the beginning, and I said, you know what? I'm actually going to turn it off. I'm going to be excited because we get this day one with Game Pass, so I'm going to be excited to play Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, I'll need to actually go back and finish because I stopped my game right at the point of no return.
Oh.
For the first one.
Oh. Yeah, go and finish it. It's
finish.
Oh, and I believe you have the DLC. So yeah, go and get into those DLCs. Those were fun. Those were very fun.
I think I have one of them. I don't know if I have both.
I think I bought the other one on my side. I don't know if it gives it to you.
Yeah, it doesn't when you do that.
Oh, sorry.
All good. No, it's all good.
Ninja Gaiden 4 was announced with the original Hayabusa helmet. Halo even retweeted and said nice helmet, considering it was the cause of controversy for early Ninja Gaiden games before finally coming over and having their game come to Game Pass. Sigma 3 and I think Black got on Game Pass not too long ago, so happy to see Ninja Gaiden 4 is in development. Looks fan-fucking-tastic. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 with a lot of updated stuff. We got Doomslayer popping in. We got revamped music. Huge music.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All we saw was Michelangelo, but hopefully the rest will join him.
He's the only one that matters.
July 11th for this one. I am very excited. We have 1 month to plan for this one. I still need to play 1 and 2 a little bit more before hopping into this one.
I haven't played any of them yet.
No, I'm gonna.
I played the originals, but
none of the remakes.
None of the remakes, no.
Oh bother. The one that made me go, okay. I mean, fine. Grounded 2, which it gave us story right off the cut. Good. Yeah, it literally said, "Here's what happened at the end of 1. Here's how 2 begins." And I said, "Good. For those who either want to hop straight into this one or was like, first one was whatever." That's a good way to do it. That's a fine way to do it. Gears of War Reloaded, it's just basically showcasing that it's going to be day one when it all drops. I believe E-Day got pushed back a little bit more to March of next year, I think. It was very gray on when E-Day is going to get released. Clockwork Revolution, BioShock Infinite, but less racist, which made me very happy.
I didn't play Infinite, so I can't weigh in on that.
That's fair. It looked fun. It looked really great. Weapon customization, the way that you handle storytelling things, the character customization looked fun. The characters looked really bubbly and fresh. Huge thumbs up. Very excited to play it. No release date on that one. Except for this year. High on Life 2. Don't know who asked, but
that's a interesting choice to put that kind of time and money in.
sure, I guess it looked fun. It looked high energy, much more higher energy than High on Life 1. A lot of skateboarding and grinding on people's faces, and I was like, you know what? Sure, fine. It gets a pass. It looks entertaining. One of the strange ones, Keeper, where you play a mobile lighthouse that has a dodo bird as a companion, and you're going to.
I think I'm sold.
Right, and it has a claymation-ish art style, but it's definitely not claymation. It has just this very interesting, grainy, time travel-y feel to it. I wish I could tell you more about it, but the only thing I can tell you is go check out that trailer. It is very interesting. Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. The trailer itself made me go, maybe I should play the original Plague Tales. Very beautiful.
I did really enjoy the first one. I have yet to finish 2.
Fair enough. I maybe put 2 minutes into the first one and said, I don't think it's a game for me, but I'll probably weigh in a little bit more later on. At Fate's End, done by the developers of Spiritfarer, so you can already tell this is going to be a game that will make you probably die in one way or another, whether emotionally or physically, because it looks like it's a Souls-like 2D platformer game that looks very tough. Persona 4 Revival. This one was one that almost got me hopped out of my chair, but I said, wait a minute. I remember hearing about this, but I didn't know where it was going to get announced. Happy that it's going to be day one with Game Pass, because P4 really needs the love. A lot of people don't like P4. Aphelion, a game where you were playing an astronaut that gets stranded in a place, and then I just kind of... It gave me Tomb Raider meets Nathan Drake vibes, where you're just climbing all over the place and solving minor puzzles. Not much as far as combat, though, but it does look very interesting. Planet of Lana 2, I put question marks next to it because I didn't quite know what to call this game. It is very storytelling. It looks hand-drawn, but hard to tell. It looks just like a storytelling platforming adventure. An Unexpected Turn, Super Meat Boy 3D. I haven't played a Meat Boy game in 10-ish years.
I haven't played a Meat Boy game.
No, well, hopefully Super Meat Boy 3D is going to be a first. That is to say, if you don't mind a rage game, because this one does seem like it would be a very rage-inducing
Why
game.
does every game have to be a fucking rage game now?
Yeah.
Like, it's seeming like that's all it's getting made in. Half the games on our list today were fucking rage games.
Some, yeah. Some of the games were definitely ragey. Some were confusing. Some were Souls, so kind of ragey.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's a Souls game, it's gonna be ragey. It's just like so fucking difficult.
And
that's what I'm saying.
And last but not least, before I get to the top one over there are no ghosts at the Grand, which looks like a murder mystery meets someone's past kind of catching up to them, but through their family member. It does have a bit of...
like your dad went missing fixing things. That's this one, right?
I believe it's either dad, grandfather, and they left behind... and they left behind this technology that allows you to restore
tools
things.
to fix things.
And
there's a talking cat.
And they say, oh, you're not just fixing up the Grand, you're also fixing up the town. And there's, I guess, a mystery of why they didn't finish the town, why they did not do that,
Also, what happened to your dad?
and also what happened to him. But there
And there's
must
a talking
be
cat who says
and
he's the only one you can trust.
with a weird, like, skull-ish face on this black cat.
He's giving me serious Cheshire Cat vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I can trust that cat. But then at the very end, I was getting a little
I feel like you
humdrum,
can't
and I was
trust any
like,
cat.
I was
They're
like,
all out to get you.
that's fair. I was getting a little humdrum toward the end, and I was like, how much longer does this thing have? I'm getting kind of peckish. And then I see white landscape and internals and a guy getting questioned. I was like, okay, what am I looking at? And then it showed off more of the gameplay, and I was like, oh shit, are we getting blops? Wait, oh shit! And lo and behold, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 was announced, which means this will be the second year in a row that we get a Treyarch / Raven Games. And I said, ooh, that means we're actually going to get some story with this campaign. Because that's all that Treyarch and Raven love to do, is make good maps with good set pieces with some good story. Yes. So that was the some of what was announced. However, what was not going to be day one on Game Pass, let me go and grab that, is Blood of the Dawnwalker, which gave me some very Castlevania vibes, but like Vampire.
I see you like to play Castlevania.
You can read my mind. It showed off a little bit more of Chronos: The New Dawn, which has very interesting time travel-y, timey-wimey stuff. Mudang, Two Hearts, which looks like a nice little beat 'em up. ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, showed off their next season called Season of the Worm Cult. Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive, which felt very phone game, but with a little bit more action to it, because it's made by Netmarble. Animo, Aniimo, looks like Pokemon, but with some K-pop kind of introduced, because I'll show you that trailer when we're done, Q, if you remind me, because it does definitely pull from the Pokemon / Power World vibes, but with no guns, thankfully, no weaponry. You can change into these creatures and get things done, but it is very different. We are also getting Final Fantasy games over on Xbox. Final Fantasy Remake Integrate is going to be ported over. One game that got me leaning forward was an Invincible Versus, a 3v3 fighter set in the Invincible world. And I was like, it's very gory.
Oh yeah.
And last but not least, on talking about the Xbox, it talked about Xbox Anywhere. Phil pulled up one of these prototype models of the ROG Ally that has an Xbox button on it. And he said, you will be able to play your entire Xbox thing. You don't need to have it on cloud, but it can do cloud. But if you want to download it into the internals, it'll run. It'll have your saves, no problem. You can jump from one console to the other, no problem. He also said something that made me lean very much more forward and said, you can also add in your other PC game storefronts that you already have, your other libraries, like from Steam, Epic Games, Origin. And
I mean, you got to play Sims somewhere.
I can play it on my Steam. I don't need to download that
you
trash.
play the older ones.
Oh no, I have Sims 4. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with Sims 4. I don't want to play any other ones. But even still, they gave us specs. No prices yet, but I'm gonna assume at the end of this on how much it's going to be.
I mean, this is kind of me. I kind of want to lean into this a little bit more than lean into the Steam Deck, and I was already pretty interested.
True, and I hope that it is as it says it is.
Yeah, my big thing on it is going to be, how much is it? That's really what's going to make or break this device for me.
Okay. So, from what I can guess, it's going to be, it says operating system Windows 11 Home, but it's a personalized, very unique custom operating system that kind of goes around Windows 11. You can still access Windows 11, but it gets rid of some of the operating stuff, such as the clock down in the bottom right. It throws that completely out the window and says, we're getting rid of as much as we can so that way it's only gaming. Between the regular ROG,
Yeah, 'cause you don't need it to be a full blown PC.
Correct. And so they give the specs for the regular Xbox Ally and the Ally X. The Ally X being a little bit stronger, has faster memory cores, some very interesting numbers comparative to how things are right now. I would argue that these are way stronger than a Steam Deck. So even if you have your eyes set on a Steam Deck, put this one as like a back seat if you can gather the money to make the difference for it. Because these internalized chips are a little bit more stronger in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like, is this thing going to be expensive to ever consider owning? That's what it's going to break down to for me.
That's fair. From my guess, from what I can kind of volley back and forth, the regular Xbox Ally could run anywhere between 600 to 650, while the Ally X can run anywhere between 750 to 850.
See, that's pushing it.
That is pushing
We'll see.
it. Yes. It showcases all of its extra I/O ports. The Gen 2, the 3.2 Gen 2 Type C with DisplayPort. You can actually attach a hub to this thing and just attach it to a screen, to a monitor, and then just have a Xbox controller bound to it. So that way you can play on a bigger monitor and it's seamless, very much like a regular console. Leaving it plugged in and so on and so forth, and then just being able to take it off like a switch. I'm here for this technology. I'm happy that Xbox is doing a major handshake like this to allow for you to have one major console that can handle anything you throw at it. They also said Silksong will be released day one with this, and they said this will be available holiday 2025. And I said, holy fucking shit. Ah. Badoop. Not going to talk about any of these, but I'm just going to quickly scroll down and just kind of be like, yeah, this is why I'm kind of cutting down on how much I'm talking about. I'm still going down this big, long list of games that have been announced recently. There's a lot. There's a lot of a lot.
Yeah, we're already at almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
If people want us to read this whole thing, they would have to pay us.
Yeah.
I will do the audiobook of all the game trailers if you pay me.
Yeah, I opened up the tips, so head over to the Twitch chat, head over to the tips thing down at the bottom, or head over to our throne. There's a couple really cool items that you can help out the podcast with. But on a more serious note, as said, I'm just going to talk about a couple of these, a couple of the demos that I took a look at, such as Escape from Duckov, a Tarkov-like clone where you play as a duck with a gun. It was adorable, but it is not English. I think it is simplified Chinese. I couldn't read a few things, but the gameplay was fun. The gameplay was fine. It had its moments where I fell through the map. It'll do for an early beta.
Who hasn't gone through a map?
Ferocious, a interesting dinosaur-like game. I could not get it to run. But very interesting of a premise. You seem to be fighting both creature and human, with a lot of very interesting looking guns. A shotgun that does not look like a shotgun at all. Very futuristic. Adds in a little bit of alien tech, because you have like this giant mech suit that you see in the middle of another. I don't think this trailer, but another trailer had it. But gunplay looks fine. Doesn't look like it's doing anything wrong. I hope that I'll be able to play this one later. This one I did not. I don't think this has a. This one does have a demo. This one I have downloaded, but I have not played. Ambrosia Sky. I was here for the art style. As soon as I saw, after you pick up this card, there's like a comic book-ish art style, and it begins to like crack and decrease from there. There's a grappling hook, and all you're trying to do is clean up a ship to make it serviceable to get you away from this place. And apparently there's a reason why the contamination is taking over things. and I was like, okay, I can get down with this premise. I may play this during the week, and I'll let you guys know how that is. I already mentioned about it, but System Shock 2 comes out with some very unlikely additions, such as multiplayer. Um, I definitely did not see that multiplayer was on the to-do list, but Night Dive, you're doing strangely God's work with this remake, this remaster. Because I mean, they've completely redone everything. They made the game not as slow and clunky, but very much more quicker and accessible to play, especially on console. Because playing System Shock 2, the original, with a controller, not fun. And last but not least, for the demos that I have played, I need to remember what this is. Oh, I'll mention that in a sec. The last of the demos that I played, Pigface, a first-person Hotline Miami clone. Holy cow. It was very quick, very speedy paced, and then on the farm level, you can do things a little more quietly. I really enjoyed this. I might buy this game because it was just a interesting first-person Hotline Miami. Didn't really try to be anything that it wasn't. Also, you have a bomb implanted in your head. I don't know if that's a serious plot point or not, but yeah.
It sounds like another Tuesday.
Sounds like an average run-of-the-mill Tuesday. Badoo. Quickly, briefly touching on the IGN Live, I did sit through some of it while I was eating some food because I was interested in it. And they had
We got to see everybody they cut IGN a check this year.
Yeah, and the voices of Claire Obscure, including the lovely Charlie Cox and Ben Starr, all sitting up there wearing their French mime-ish thing. I believe Charlie even has a baguette in his back hash while Ben Starr is just clutching it. And the voice of Monaco, I forget his name, but the whole cast wearing their nice costumes, answering questions from the crowd, answering random questions from the Monaco, yeah. But I meant the actor, the voice actor. They were answering some good questions, having a good time, talking about their experiences, voicing, and just having a generally a good time. IGN has come really far from being to actually providing some really good content. Good job, IGN.
Yeah, I absolutely pee on them.
That's fair. Not enough water.
I see a lot of their reviews, and I sit there and go,
Are you sure?
You didn't watch what I watched, or you didn't play what I played, and that's not like because our opinions differ, but because like the shit you're saying.
Yeah, but their interviews have gotten a little bit better. A little bit better. To be fair, they beat up on Randy Pitchford, so they get a plus anyways.
I mean, everybody should.
Everybody should. Just before I get into it, do you have any more gaming things?
I think that's it, bud.
Right.
It's been almost 2 hours of gaming.
Yeah. You're fair enough. A bit of shoe news. Naruto Shippuden and Nike make some very interestingly wrapped shoes that have 3 pouches on them. One that has a zipper on the back and 2 that buckle on the sides, and a nice little interesting headband that goes along the backside of the sole. I really like the look of the shoes, but I would never wear these. They are very, very much Naruto. They feel Naruto. They look Naruto. They have I forget his name. But they have a name on the back of the shoes. They are very tough looking.
Yeah, I don't know what that symbol means.
And I believe these are going to be limited press. Yeah, you'll have to shell out nearly $7,500 for these. Yeah, no.
Hate me.
But now it's time to hurt Quincy. Look at them. They look so good, though.
No, they don't. They don't.
It looks so good, though.
No, you know what they look like? They look like fucking Crocs.
They look like Crocs. Crocs and Ghostbusters fuse to make some, in my opinion, good-looking Crocs. But as Quincy says, they got a little Slimer on the top. They have a little ghost capture device, and you can replace the front gibbet with a name badge if you want to put one of the name badges.
Nobody should know my name. Oh, their names. Okay.
Yeah.
Say nobody needs to know my name if I'm walking around and
That's
embarrassment enough that they're seeing me.
That's fair. The proton pack is on the bottom. At the back, it says danger, high voltage. Careful of all that. $80 over at Crocs on August 19th. But speaking of Crocs, they just dropped their Pokemon collection, ranging from $70 to $80. They have anything between a nice little water and fire mixture with Charizard on one, Blastoise on the other. The EV Classic, which has a Charm Gibbet, which goes from one of the I guess I'll call it the sport mode holders to the other sport mode holders, like a necklace for your foot, featuring all of the
Okay.
evolutions. But it
Oh my
also
god,
has,
it's a charm bracelet for your. It's an anklet for your fucking
yeah,
Croc.
anklet. Yeah, we'll say anklet. Yeah. That does a lot better. It also has a bunch of fuzz on the back, so enjoy that too. They also have just your standard run of the mill starter Pokemon pack that has Pikachu, Blastoise, or not Blastoise, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander with the gibbets to match. And of course gibbets for all your run of the mill Pokemon generations or even classic favorites. Croclet. I don't know if I want to call it a Croclet. But
This all just makes me think of that whole God lives. The concept of God live in fear of things He created, and looking at Crocs, just there and go, yeah, maybe.
maybe this is why he hasn't visited us. Going back over to Ghostbusters, however, thanks to the Hasbro Pulse that are still making items despite losing half of their employee base. Ghostbusters Plasma Series Proton Pack 1984, full size. You actually get an actor wearing one of these, and I gotta say, it looks pretty neat. But you've said they've done this before, yes?
We've seen a lot of the proton packs. I'm not complaining. It seems like they turn out every so often. It's just interesting. I do sit there and go, wow. I wonder how many of these things that they keep going back to it.
Yeah. $300, and this is on pre-order, by the way. The release of shipment is March 1st, 2026. Badoop. Going over to Legos, we haven't talked about Legos in a minute, but going over to Legos, the Netflix One Piece Netflix series has made some really good-looking boats and set pieces from the One Piece show. One featuring the Going Merry pirate ship with a bunch of really cool-looking minifigs. The fight battle at Arlong Park. I wish he had a pointy nose instead of that, but we live. It comes with a stretchy arm also, which I want to know how that goes on to a minifig, if it goes on easily or if it just is this figure. Oh, it may just be that's the figure because everyone has hands while his kind of goes off the page. Very interesting. Buggy the Clown Circus Tent, which has some really interesting set pieces and moving parts. And then the Barati, the floating restaurant where they pick up Sanji. I actually really like the Barati. Sadly, I'm not too keen on the One Piece, but first comment in it is One Piece my ass with the 1,376 pieces from the Going Merry. Comment section's always so witty, but releasing on.
I mean, that one combined with the difference between the Titanic Lego set and the real thing is the amount of pieces.
that is fair. Releasing on August 1st. I want to know how much the Barati goes for because that one looks like a fun one to build. Badoop. A really nice looking Spider-Man 2 Peter Parker Last Stand suit, a 1/6 scale collectible figure that looks like it has some real leather on the figure. This figure goes fucking tough.
When he says Spider-Man 2, he means the game because I was sat there confused for Spider-Man
Sorry,
2.
Yep, Spider-Man 2. The
No,
game,
you're
yes.
fine. Like my brain just sat there processing. I was like, I feel like I'm not going to be the only one that sits here and goes,
huh? It also comes with eyepiece replacements, which is kind of interesting. You don't see very many of those on figures, but I say that, and then we
that
go
tells me
over.
someone's lost a few.
Well, and then I say that, and then I go over to this one, a really nice looking Hobie or Spider Punk. Oh, go load back in, please. I really like the look of his mask, but they guess what? Come with replaceable eyepieces. You know, I really like how posable his figure looks. I
Yeah, no, these are all great figures.
If I could definitely purchase a figure right now and have a spot to put it, I would definitely lean toward getting Spider Punk. I really liked him in Across the Spider Verse. As for both of these, I believe they are set to be kind of nudged into the New York Comic Con and then announced for release thereafter. This is just early stuff from Hot Toys and the Sentinel stuff. Um, at least as far as I can tell. There's no dates, no prices. I'm just pulling them up because they fucking look cool. But one that is announced for the NECA convention exclusive, a very interesting Surfs Up Chucky that I I think beach is the current theme for the NECA convention exclusives, and I'm not mad at it, but very confused. A
He's a beach town kind of guy, I guess.
I suppose. A really interesting looking small Chucky figure with the surfs up hand gesture, a copper top sunscreen, a few floaties, and a surfboard with a wave that you can kind of pose them on top. And a beach towel that says, "Good guys, hey, wanna lay." I like this. This is somewhat wholesome for a murderous doll figure, I
I mean, I
guess.
don't know if I'd say wholesome with the double entendre of the wanna lay, but you know.
That's fair. I think
But I get
I'm
what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
but I'm happy to see sunglasses on this figure. And that is it. I'm just gonna quickly glance over Zenny because that's a part of our little happiness thing. Uh, Zenny has a lot of deals going on right now for their frames. In a bunch of color schemes because they have just opened up. Let me look at my notes. 85 colors that you can choose from. So if you have a very particular color that you want to suit with the style, by all means. They even have latte inspired ones. So that way, if in case you happen to really like our coffee inspired stuff from before, you can still go into the latte inspired stuff of glasses. Anything above $89 gets you standard shipping, and they still, of course, have their recycle, renew, reuse, now called Eco Bloom. Go and check them out down in the description. That's all I got, Q. Holy
That's all I
crap.
got, bud.
Holy fucking shit.
I will say,
I'm
for the
sweating.
first time in a while, like there's some games that came out of like this list that I went, ooh.
Concur. Yeah, last year was kind of but this year I've played a lot of demos. I've definitely caught a lot off guard. As said, I played Escape from Duckov and was like, okay, I'm happy with this, but translation, we need to get a translation team on this, get it better looking, so that way I can play it some more.
Just learn Chinese, you'll be fine.
I know a little bit. I know enough, I think, to get by, but I don't think I know enough to get by in Duckov.
I mean, how much more do you need to know other than, duck, point, gun, shoot?
Restroom.
Fair point.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe where you can. Remember to check us out on X or Twitter. Quincy over on Threads. If you happen to want to get some good content going.
I have Threads. I got Blue Sky. I'm not using them, but I'm there.
He's there. If you happen to want to DM him, you can DM him there.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'll see it, but
I got notifications on. I'll see mine.
I got notifications on. This doesn't mean I'll see it. You know how many of your Discord messages I miss, and I have notifications on for that.
That's just the fair. It's one of those things where I hope I'll see this before we get started.
I do. I mentioned you. I feel bad because normally I see them like 12 hours.
Oh, I don't. I'm fine by it. Just as long as you do, I don't. I really don't mind. I understand that you're busy. You do things that are beneficial to you. I'm not here to be like you must pay attention to me. I understand. Remember to check out. You know it. Remember to check out the good old Humble Bundle if you want to help out a bunch of charities while also getting some really cool shit. IGN. Once again, I'm going to kind of blow you up a little bit. You guys have a really cool bundle that I might purchase. Check out Hero Forge. Once again, no deals over there, but we are affiliated with them. Cool. And last one is HelloFresh. Be sure to check out the link down in the description or use the code that's down there to get 10 free meals and one additional add-on for life. And at the end of days, at the end of weeks, at the end of months, at the end of years, please, please love one another. It is definitely free to do. Night, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, and real quick, sorry about last week where I was opening up Taffy on the microphone. I caught it when I was re-listening to the episode, but I forgot to remove it.
That's wild that I even noticed.
Skip it button, done up.